Okay. So I'm telling you a little bit my plan here. I will probably from time to time say, hey, let's do another word problem, right? So if you didn't quite do all of the homework questions, I might come back to it. I might even say, hey, for test review, do these 2 pages, right? So you'll still have a go at it. But right now, I want to just keep going, gradually keep pushing forward because word problems aren't going anywhere. We're still going to do the same thing. We're just going to add a bit more. So page 43 talks about quadratic regressions. Okay? And that's a fancy word for like that. Just highlight that word regression. We are going to come up with an equation. The calculator is going to help us do that. It's pretty cool, by the way. So far, you were given the equation, which we entered into y1, and we were able to use second trace ... right, to extract information about that parabola that resulted, right? In this lesson, you will learn to determine the quadratic equation that will best model this scenario. You are finding the line of best fit. I would actually say the curve of best fit. Do you remember in grade 9 you would do like the line of best fit? I don't know if you remember that vaguely. I mean, COVID kind of threw everything out of the, so I don't know if that may have been covered, but you would have had a bunch of dots and then you found the line that kind of best modeled it. You were doing this, right? But now we're going to do it using the calculator. It's been a while since I taught grade 9, so I still remember certain things, okay? Quadratic regression allows you to determine the quadratic equation that needs at least 3 points. You need 3 points. And rule of thumb is the degree of the function, right, plus 1. So for a quadratic, you need, right, the degree is 2 plus 1, you need 3 points. For a linear, the degree is 1 plus 1 is 2 points. You need 2 points for a linear, 3 for a quadratic. And we won't do linear this year, but in grade 12, you will do linear from time to time. Remember that you can use the symmetry. This is very important. Okay, the symmetry of the parabola to determine a third point if necessary. I will highlight that because we just think, oh, it's symmetric. It is symmetric. It's perfectly symmetric. So if you know 1 point, you can find its cousin on the other side, right? And we'll use a little trick for that. To access quad reg is also important. So I'm actually going to highlight it here and here. Okay, quadratic regression. We press stat calc, then select quad reg. And it will require the following inputs. It needs to know the location of the x values, and I'm going to highlight the commas. Comma, the location of the y values, comma, a place to store the resulting equation. Those are the 3 entries that we're always going to give it. Okay. Note that the entries are separated by comma. Some students forget that, but now that we highlighted it, you'll be just fine. And here are the steps to perform the regression. Right now, this is probably gibberish, so I'm not going to spend too much time going over this. But let's say we haven't done this in a while. You did stats, we did linear, and you're like, how did we do that again? Then you come back and review the steps here, okay? Today, I'm just going to walk you through. That's the best way to do it. So I'm just going to do highlight steps for regressions and just say, hey, if you need to refresh your memory, maybe even when you do your homework later, you're like, I need to know exactly what to press again, come back to this section and just follow these steps and you'll get it exactly. Okay. You should see when you type everything in correctly, you should see this on your screen. Quadreg L1, comma L2, comma Y1. So what it's saying is, hey, quadratic regression, go get the x values from L1, the y values from L2, and store it into Y1 in my calculator. So let's try that, okay? So grab your calculators, and practice is key here. Okay, so you're gonna press stat a lot. Okay, stat, locate that button right here. It's right next to that X button, stat. You're gonna use that a lot. It is actually used by, like, if you take statistics in university, you might use this one again, right? So stat, and the first one is edit. That's what we want. We want to edit the data in there. And do you see L1, L2? You should be seeing, this is almost like an Excel spreadsheet. Yay, right? Some of you like Excel, some of you have nightmares. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to the top of L1. You're going to have a bunch of stuff in there. My guess is you're going to have stuff in there. So you're going to hit clear. When you go all the way to the top, you hit clear, and then you hit enter. And it clears everything that's in there. So keep repeating that. Hit clear, enter, go all the way to the top, clear, enter, so that everything is empty. Right? You don't want anything on there. What if you press delete? Let's just do it because it's going to happen to you. Let's all go to L1. And you're going to try to clear it, but you're going to press delete. So let's do it. Let's make that mistake. Oh no, L1 is gone, right? Shoot, I didn't save my work, right? No, don't panic. Remember, stat button is an important button for us. Press it, stat, and you're not going to use it a whole lot, so you're going to forget. But setup editor, enter. Go to the fifth option and go enter, and enter one more time. When it says done, it restored your spreadsheet to the original. Okay, so let's go and find it again. Stat, edit, and L1 should be back. Make sure it's back, right? It's back for everybody. Okay, let's now type in, we're gonna grab our pencil, and this is part of showing your work. You're gonna type this into L1 and the Y values into L2. This is our table of values, right? So let's go ahead and do that. You gotta go -4, not -4. Hit enter. Then you go -1, hit enter. 2, hit enter. You got it? Move over to the right to L2 and type in -5, enter, 2, enter, 1, enter. So you should make sure it all matches, right? Okay. Step number 1. You're going to be really good at this in a week from now. Okay. So once you've entered this, you got to go, let's go to y equals. Clear whatever is in there. It will overwrite whatever is in there, but let's just clear it for now. And remember I told you to turn plot 1 off. Well, this is the time where we turn it on. Okay, so go to plot 1, hit enter. You're only going to have that on when you are performing a regression. Other than that, it should be turned off because it will conflict sometimes and give you an error message. If you need to manually type in an equation, make sure this is off. Plot 1 is off. If you're doing a regression, make sure it's on. Okay? Let's try something here. I'm going to try it. So hit graph. Let's see if we can see something. You see two dots there? See those? If I'm going too fast, you hit y equals, make sure plot 1 is on. We hit graph. And we all have different windows right now. So let's do the zoom 6, okay? Zoom 6. You see the dots? Those are the 3 dots that make up our parabola. So you have a partial picture here. You can kind of imagine, right? It's going to go like this and down. So let's perform a regression. Here we go. We're going to press stat. But now you're done editing, right? So we're going to go to calculate. So go sideways to the right. And you find quad reg right there. Quad regression is the 5th option. Hit enter. It's now on your home screen. And it's asking you, tell me where the x values are. And I'm going to make sure my whole calculator is on the screen for this one. You got to pay attention here. Go to number 1. Do you see L1 just above 1 there? So to access that, we got to press second and then 1. See that? Comma. There's a comma button right here. Second, number 2, right? And that calls L2. Comma. And a students tell me tricks all the time. Let me just try that. I'm going to see if I remember. So I'm just going to, no. Yeah, okay. Just figured it out. So I'm going to go back there. Press alpha, calculate. So alpha trace. You see Y1 right there? You have options. You can do Y2, Y3. It's up to you. We're going to put it into Y1. So hit enter. Does everybody have this right now on their screen? I hope so. Okay, so now you hit enter one more time. Now you're ready to do the regression. You've been waiting for that, right? And that is your quadratic equation. Let's write that down before I show you the graph. So all you need to do to show me the work, guys, watch. Stat, calc, quad reg. And you're going to just tell me what the equation is. And so your equation here is super precise. You only have to give me 2 decimals. Sometimes I use 3 decimals. When it seems to be 0, right? So it's negative 0.44 x squared, because that's the value for A, right? B is 0.11 positive. So we go 0.11 x, because the value of b is in front of the x term, right? And c is 2.56 if we round it. So this is my equation that is going to model this parabola. Okay. Oh, make sure you write that down. And now we can finally hit graph. Now we're going to see the parabola that we just came up with. Isn't that cool? Mr. Anderson, can I now find the vertex x-intercepts, blah, blah, blah of it? Yes. Now it's back to what we did before. So just added that little piece, right? What if you have no equation? No problem. We can do a regression, come up with it. What else do I want to say here that could go wrong? The most common mistake by far is this one. If you go stat, enter, if you by any chance get one of them wrong, everything is off. So you got to watch out. I actually tell my students, take a second look and just quickly scan, right? Like make sure it doesn't take that long and it saves you so much grief, right? It's like, okay, I got the signs right, everything is good. Another warning that you should see, if these points are like way off, like you have, like these ones follow a pattern and this one is like way up here, or like it's way off and doesn't seem to fit the pattern, you did something wrong, right? It's still gonna try to make a quadratic, but it won't do a very good job at doing that, right? So I think that's all I have to say there. We're gonna use Zoom, press Zoom one more time. We're gonna use Zoom stat a lot. So press enter there. And what Zoom stat does, it tries to make a window where all the points you entered are gonna make, it's gonna show up for sure. Like these 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, however many points you put in, it's gonna show them all. But then you have to make sure you adjust your window because it's not gonna be the best window, but sometimes it helps students to find where is this thing, because these could be thousands, right? These numbers could be really big. And so if you do Zoom stat, it will take you to the points, and then you just adjust your window, X-min, X-max, Y-min, Y-max accordingly, okay? So I'm going to say this, Zoom, what is it called? Zoom stat, oh yeah, there you go. Zoom stat, okay, will zoom in to points in L1 and L2. Okay? But this is the kicker. Plot 1 must be on for this to work. If you do not have plot 1 turned on, it will do nothing. You will press Zoom stat and it's the same thing as before. It's like, what's going on? Plot 1 needs to be turned on. It's almost like the switch for Zoom stat to work. That's why I asked you to turn it on. And if you have Miss Yosik or somebody else, they may not use it. Yeah. Something wrong? Okay, we will fix that. And I might. Oh, there we go. There we go. fix it, no problem. Was I recording this? Oh, yeah. Okay, anyways. Now that we're up to speed, vertex, second trace max. So I'm going to go somewhere to the left. Same as before. That'll be 0.13, 2.56. The y-intercept we know because it's in general form, right? So let's just write it down like this. Hey, why is right? It seems like they're the same. Do you see that? Remember when b is 0, the y-intercept and the vertex are basically the same? It's very close to 0. That's why it seems like it. So if we use more decimals, we'd probably be more accurate. Okay. X-intercepts? No. Y2 is equal to 0. Second trace 5. It's negative 2.280. I don't know if the second one is going to work with my window. So I'm going to try it. Sometimes it says error, something with domain. So you just have to increase your X max. It did work for me. 2.530. Remember, especially with regressions, sometimes instead of 0, you'll get 2.57 times e to the negative 7 or something like that. That is very small. That is 0 for us, right? So especially with regressions, it doesn't always state 0 here. So you just have to assume that it is based on where it's blinking, right? What is the y value when x is equal to negative 30? So basically, second trace 1, right? X is equal to negative 30. We will find out what the y value is. Can I do it as is? Will it work as is? Second trace 1, I'm going to go negative 30. Let's see. I wanted that to happen. Error invalid. And go to, often it tries to tell you what it doesn't like. So if we go enter, it doesn't like the negative, but we know it's negative. So we need to adjust x what? X min, right? And possibly y min. That's a note here, right? We had to make some adjustments. So we're going to go to our window and we're going to go to x min. I'm going to go negative 40 or something like that, right? And my y min, I don't know, negative 100. Let's try that. Oh, there it is. It's a bit overkill, my x, but whatever, it's okay. Second trace 1, redo the negative 30, and you get negative 400.78. Negative 400.78. You're like, wait a minute, my y min is only negative 100. How come it worked? I don't always know the answer to that, but it definitely didn't like that your window was cut off at like 2 or 3 negative, right? It wanted more this way. But if you wanted to see this point, you'd have to decrease your y min to like negative 450 or something, right? so that you would actually see it blinking as you find it. Okay, so there it is. That's the y value. I don't want you to enter this equation manually into your y1. I want you to let quadratic regression paste the whole thing into y1, because if you look at y1, look at that, right? Like I should be able to see that. If you keep going right, it'll be the whole thing pasted in there, right? So that's how I want you to have it. Let's go to the next page here. How would it work if if you don't have a graph, don't have a table of values? How would that work? I'm going to give you a visual here. A parabola has a vertex of 2, 5. Let's go ahead and find that 2, 5. It has two x-intercepts, one of which is negative 5, 0. Where is that? That's over here, negative 5, 0. And if you have a red pen or something that sticks out a bit, do you remember the axis of symmetry? Remember that one? It cuts the parabola in half. So we know that the axis of symmetry cuts through the vertex like this. The axis of what? Mr. Dirksen, I just remember what we did yesterday. That's it. Can't go that far back. That's the axis of symmetry. And right now, we're just going to say that's where it is. Okay? So I want you to do this. Count how many units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units, right? In this case, it takes 7 units to go from this x-intercept to the center, to the axis of symmetry. So where will the cousin be? How many units to the right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right here. So this is the vertex. So this is 2, 5. This is negative 5, 0. And what's this one that we just found? That would be 9, 0, right? 9, 0. This is my third point because you need, right? Using AOS, okay? We found that third point using the axis of symmetry. And now you can actually sketch your graph. We know that this is how it's going to go, right? But we don't have an equation. So how would we do that? I'm glad you asked. You make a table of values. I'm going to start from the left. It doesn't matter as long as you pair them up. Negative 5, 0, 2, 5, and 9, 0. This goes into L1. This goes into L2. We're going to go stat, calc, quadreg. And let's find this equation. It's going to be tight. But it's going to be on the video. Okay, so I'm going to clear. So you go to the top, hit clear. Go to the top, hit clear. Then it's negative 5, 2, and 9. We can do this equation, I think. And then it's 0, 5, 0. Stat, calculate, and oh, sorry, redo. I need to go to quadreg. I'm going to go second 1, comma, second 2, comma, what was that? Alpha trace to get y1. Hit enter, and there it is. I'm going to use 3 decimals here. And I'm going to ask you to do 44 and 45. I will post the key